So, today in our episode 3, we have Gerhard Mütter, who doesn't like to be called lecturer or professor because he has done many other hats, which includes integrating PV plants in many different parts of the world, doing a lot of work in the CEE region, and of course, he was also CTO for Enery for a long period of time. But I would let him introduce himself and then we go ahead.
Okay. Then let's start there.
Let's start.
Okay. I think I will not tell you my whole life because then the whole period will be over, but just give you a short idea of what has been. Originally, and that's now new for you, I'm an automotive engineer. Then I studied technical mathematics, was then 25 years in computer graphics, mainly focused on creating nice pictures of interior design and creating automatic generated sceneries on interior design, which moved then to also renewables. And since 2005, I'm more working for the renewables, first as a product developer, and then I started with my first part in Eastern Europe on supporting 700 megawatt in Ukraine, where part of them is on the island of Crimea and part of them is in the area Odessa to the Romanian border. So this is Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And
the region in the topic.
Yeah. And based on this, there were challenges on having these plants under control. And there I developed tools for reading a lot of irregularities out of the monitoring data. And based on this, the 700 megawatt got optimized 4.5% within the first years of my career of technical director that I was at that time. We then thought this idea of having analytics based on monitoring data combined from my mathematical background with the renewable ones and created a product out of it. This product is now part of green power monitoring software, and based on this I did, looking at you as an Indian, in your country, optimization of across approximately 3 gigawatt of plants, and I'm counting here only that plants where I've been. So I've been, I think, 6 or 7 times in the biggest plant of the world. First in the first 100 megawatt plant in Ukraine, which is close to the airport of Simferopol on the island of Crimea. Then the first gigawatt, the biggest plant in the world in Bakla, in Rajasthan, and also on the first gigawatt plant closed in one place, which is in Kunur, south of Hyderabad, approximately 3 or 4 hours southeast of Hyderabad, in the center of India.
Oh, you know it well.
I've been there for several times, and there have been clients like SoftBank, who was the owner here of 350 megawatt of this gigawatt plant. And we optimized, in this case, their energy selling strategy on combining the weather forecast with the price that they get because part of them they were selling on the free market. The part was the PPA, like in India usual.
Yeah.
They made a part of selling on the free market, I think 100 mega of this. And I optimized here their accuracy of their forecast, of their energy forecast, based on the weather forecast. Because the trick is, if you sell exactly that energy that you have announced, you get the best price.
Yeah.
If you produce more, you get just a sheet on the top, and if you produce less, you have to buy on your price expensive additional energy. So the trick here was just to find out would the next day be close to that what is in India relatively often a clear sky day, because on clear sky day you can predict a 15-minute exactly on 3 to 5% exactly what you're producing. If you have a cloudy day and then you have interruptions and you cannot predict 15 minutes plus minus what you're really producing. And so the trick was there when we could see it on the weather forecast that there would be a clear sky day. We put our announcement on the top level of that what we predicted, and on shitty days that we call them, we put our announcement on the lower one, and we reduced based on this the prices for additional extra energy by 5%.
And was it part of you being the independent consultant and going there and consulting the government, or was part of some organization that you went there?
It was during this India tour. We also were here talking with, I don't know, there's a four-digit abbreviation of the Indian government that is taking care about the energy distribution in the country. And here we did two of their plants, a 10 megawatt plant and a megawatt plant, from technical perspective. I was only, all of the time, I was always focused on the technical solutions. So all the political stuff that running behind was nice to see some politicians and to give them hints that it made technical sense to do something like this, or what is to be expected, or to discuss on energy profiles, because you have on the one hand the production profile, on the other hand the profile of the market. So that was quite nice. Yeah, we did something for this Indian government. I have some very friendly thoughts about them. They were trying to do, but they are in a safe position. It's not the hard market.
Indians are friendly.
No,
Very centralized. Very centralized. Yeah. We like central government. We like the centralized system.
Yeah.
But thank you, Gerhard, for, and first of all, I mean, what an introduction. So it takes so much to get on our podcast.
Yeah.
That you have to do so much work to get to sit with us.
Yeah, that is just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time. I started this following the renewable ideas when I was at your age, and my boys are at your age at the moment, and they are still in the renewable project we discussed before now. Yeah.
What a journey. But Gerhard, I mean, just looking back, I mean, it's been an incredible journey, but you said that you started your renewable journey back in 2005?
2005, I switched from software to do something that I can grab, because there were 25 years of doing more or less theoretical stuff on programming or coordinating a software company that I owned at this time. And it was quite interesting to not only to calculate the things and to show them nice pictures, but to do them really. And that then I did product management and developed solar thermal units, and also setups for private household PV, small PV units. So combining a small inverter, putting a set of cables, taking care that on your specific rooftop you have the correct fixing system, the mounting systems that you need on every different tile that you have on your rooftop.
Yeah.
You have different mounting systems.
Yeah, but it's very interesting. We were talking before the camera was on that your background was in the early stages of the AI, right? So
it was in the I programmed the first in the 80s. I started when I was studying technical mathematics. I did on the one hand the computer graphics, and on the other hand we were crazy about the algorithms of artificial intelligence, creating the first neural networks on programming them in programming language. C is in the meantime, C# is still alive, real software like we call it. So I did hear some of the algorithms, and there are also a few families. I think you are now in this field where AI is in the market. You have on AI, on the one hand, you have the algorithms that are simulating what your brain, or trying to simulate what the brain is doing. That is, and the other one is the interface to that, and the interface is still a tricky situation. Because on the interface you have to recognize what is going on, and pattern recognition, and also the modeling of the real world inside the computer is still a challenge. But I was also very amazed on being a part of that when we did the step from the stupid black and white models that in the first days of computer science where you have this binary situation, okay, it is yes or no. And in the meantime we have 256 shade of gray, which you can represent. So the fuzzy logic where not black and white are the decision maker, which is now used very intense on the artificial intelligence. And combining, but the result, and I'm here also warning to my students when is the problem that you have is it is just compressing shit if you put shit in.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the problem that you have if you follow AI, where the database or the background is not verified by experts of the field where you use it. And that's the difference why AI, if you take ChatGPT, it is giving you wordings like influencers are taking, which is normally a compression of stupid things. Not everyone, but there are for sure excuses on it, but with a high percentage. And on the other hand, where artificial intelligence is working quite well, take the example on detecting tumors on X-ray picture, because there all the time every picture that is in the database and is quantified and classified, here is the classifications, is done by an expert. And it's not done by anyone who says, oh, my pinky sister was jumping 3 times higher on that, so that must be the next for the whole world. And here the results are really amazing. And in my later career, when I was already in the renewables, starting also from the part being in the scientific committee of PVSEC, I accompanied then a PhD thesis in Portugal, where a girl had to analyze 105 algorithms available in libraries like you have at the moment, usually Python libraries. MATLAB is also one of these areas, and she analyzed the usability.
What year we are talking about? What year was it?
That was 2000.
Okay, before COVID.
Or even 2020.
Okay.
So it was not so long ago. Not so long ago. And she checked out these 105 algorithms on predict the solar production. The funny thing is, this girl was from Madeira, where this island is famous for having very fine structured local climate. So you have 500 meters from one location, a totally different climate. This is a small island in the Atlantic Ocean, where the main wind direction is giving you, because it goes up to 1,700, 1,800 meters, and so the wind on the Atlantic gives here a very fine segmented local climate. Each valley has different climate. Wow. And that was amazing on checking out the quality of the algorithms. And there was, during the work, we classified it then to 5 groups on having neural networks, more than on random numbers based.
Okay.
so Monte Carlo methodology and double checking. We classified the test into 5 groups, and the best result was then finally the final result of their PhD, taking a top-level algorithm based on fuzzy logic to decide which family of these 5 classes is in the current case the best one. And based on this, we increased already the results, I think, by 1 or 2% compared to the best, to the average field of the taking over 5 algorithms. So this fuzzy logic on top of the artificial intelligence for select the real algorithms was an amazing result. But also here, the input have to be very clear, and the expert who is using the artificial intelligence have to be should be an expert, and then you get in this field. And I think it is not only in renewable energies, you get then nice results.
Nice. Every field at the end.
In the meantime, the second part is then, we are talking now here about the algorithm part. The second part is the pattern recognition. So detect the difference. And before we talked about the difference between cat and dog, where it is easier to detect this if you do not have a single slide, but you have a movie out of it, because the cat is moving much more smoother than the dog. And based on this, you can then detect its simpler, and you have then characteristics that are unique, and you can then identify it clear. And on the pattern recognitions, you have in these algorithms also the same topics, detecting borders, change of colors, and based on this, you can use them and classify it and compress it, and there are algorithms that are known already since 1990.
Yeah. So it must
even before,
and it must be mind blowing to see the evolution of AI when it started and where we are now. And in the AI field that you have seen in the field in renewable energies, you mentioned before something in operation or maintenance for PV power plant, for example. How do you see the AI and its role in renewables?
We have the same problems like you have in AI. That means sheet in is sheet out. So you have to clearly segment and pre-compress the data that you use for training your AI, and you have quite a big variety on the monitoring data to detect this. So if you do not filter side effects out of it, you get a chaotic result, and the result of any AI that you use on just stupid monitoring data is, let's say, limited. It is limited. It is most of the time it is marketing gap, because it is not. Where is the border between statistics and AI? Yeah. So a lot of companies are also talking about they are selecting and detecting faults on AI, and to be honest, I was also one of them presenting things AI supported, but the main work is pure knowing what you're doing and filtering out. I think in my lecture you have seen the simple things on having morning-afternoon shadows, which is not necessary to put into AI, but this simple calculation on sinus and cosinus and get the real sun position. Based on this, this shadow is not a fault. This shadow is the daily position of the sun, and you can skip it out if you don't filter it out and you just take the numbers, or you're not aware that you are in the first row where you do not have the effect of the shadow, because you are in the first row. You can look poor into the sun. Knowing what you're doing is here very much more interesting. Also, if you have different setups, you cannot use the same strategy on a flat power plant than a power plant that is following the countryside in a hilly area, because there every table looks into another direction. and based on this you have different values and you have different characteristics. Taking an AI algorithm that is trained on standard values on a flat area at a smooth climate, and you put it then to a smaller power plant in the Alps, you get a bunch of faults that are no faults. So that you have to filter out, and based on that then it is limited. But combining all the available technologies that are there makes sense. For instance, taking infrared pictures and based on the infrared pictures classifying the patterns, classifying the patterns of the infrared pictures, where you know a very clear difference between a broken cell and a broken diode, because the broken diode or a diode is on a known location. It depends where, if the model is oriented straight or in landscape or portrait. But you have a defined position where the location of the diodes is, and if this area is hot, you have, and if there is only one part hot, you know that it is, and you can clear decide which kind of fault it is. It is also clear if a quarter, if a third of a model is in a different intensity than the other ones, then you know quite clear what is the reason. So you can train on that pattern, and then you can classify, and it helps you also to train if you have a structural problem, which is not very much in nowadays. There were a period around 2010 when the market on the PV exploded more or less.
Yeah. In 2010.
Around 2010, plus minus 2 years, 5 years. And there was also the manufacturing was growing by amount of models available on the market, but the quality was not that perfect like it is now. And also, if you had to build bigger plants, it was not possible to get from one manufacturer 10 megawatt or even more. Yeah. Wow. So today you order without any problem 100 megawatt. Okay, 6 weeks you have it. But
Austria had a good manufacturing at that time, and I mean even now, right? For PV.
They had manufacturer, some friends of mine. In the meantime, they do other jobs, but there's one or two manufacturers. Yeah, special ones are still glass models are for the purpose for building integration. For small frames, they're still in Austria. Something that these big series, we do not have the capacities here. There's big factories in China, and there is the whole chain. But the problem was you had not the quality, and sometimes it can happen that structural problems occurred in the power plant. And for that, artificial intelligence is quite interesting. So you have structural problem, you have some patterns that are coming up. You take drone pictures, or you take these patterns from the monitoring data, more or less backtrack to the location where it is, or you can follow up the growth rate of the fault, and based on this you can then you would be able to coordinate, let's say, model replacement or any warranty cases. So in these cases, it makes sense to take, but these are single cases. And in the meantime, the quality of the models are more or less perfect compared to 2010 to 2015, or let's say 2008 to 2015, 2007. After 2019, I have not seen any major quality problems in the big plants that I've visited or have operated. But at this time, there were already plants operating since 2010, where the end of the lifetime on some parts was visible. Yeah.
Gerhard, last week we were talking with Alexander Fischer, your friend.
Yeah.
He has done a lot of stuff at his home, making it, I would say, energy transition savvy. What kind of PV that he installed? I think
It was PV in the roof, the heat pump, electrical vehicle, and house insulation.
yeah.
Yes, I remember.
And we believe you also have done something similar in your house. Like
Yeah.
would you like to share something?
There is not very much to share. I have a nice location. I'm sorry that I have now workers. So
Next time.
otherwise,
Next time
you will come
No.
to me. I have the privilege to live out in the countryside and have a bigger area than usual in Austria. And for sure, I have a few kilowatt on PV on a flat rooftop integrated, and I drive an electric car, yes, because I like it.
Yeah. What kind of car do you have?
Don't worry about it. It's a BMW, but don't worry about it. It's a nice electric car, and I tried also a hybrid electric car before. Electric cars were there, and I like the combination, I like the smooth driving. And for sure, the way you have to go into electric driving, but it has to be combined with that what is available on the market. So I can tell you the difference between a European electric car and that was the initial real electric car, to name Tesla here, which is a nice electric car and a lot of power, but you cannot keep it on the European roads because it is made for Californian highway and not for our curvy roads here. So that's but the way of engine, it is no noise, it is no pollution or limited pollution on taking the rubber.
Now, how do you feel about diesel being still the primary carrier for a lot of vehicle in Austria still?
I'm originally an automotive engineer, and I know the technical issues inside. It is a philosophical discussion, but from a wider perspective, also from having a clean environment, it makes absolutely sense to switch. But the main advantages are not that. I would say it's more on it's the next generation of comfort. It is and the next generation of comfort means also less noise, which is important, especially in cities and in villages, not to disturb anyone. By the cars, I think the pollution values of the small cars are reduced significantly in the last 20 years. It is different on countries where you're coming from, where nobody is checking out what is coming out of the exhaust.
I have to tell you, Gerhard, that in Delhi you cannot drive a diesel car after 10 years, and they're making it tougher to buy a diesel car. You have to pay more taxes. So for me, it was very interesting.
And the interesting are the taxes in Delhi, for instance, they are gas driven, yeah, and that makes a lot of the pollution reduction of Delhi, but this is a different world, yeah. Now, but the cars that we have here, for sure there is pollution. We do not have this intense 11 rows in one direction, and no, we do not have this, and I think the transition should be even more to public transport.
Yeah.
We have here, and Austria is here a really nice example. I'm really 200 kilometers out of Vienna and I'm coming with the train
Yeah.
because it is more comfortable and it is even faster because the train is allowed to drive for 230. I'm here in less than 2 hours and from my office to here to the university.
We love trains. We went to Amsterdam by train last week.
Yeah, nice train.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, then yeah. I've been also traveling with Indian Railways, so.
How did you like it?
Okay, let's talk another time. It was an experience. Let's have, and I was, as you can expect, I was in the highest class. It was an experience. I will not miss it, but I will not do it everything.
What did they late the train?
The one trip was an amazing distance of closely 400 kilometers in Rajasthan. From Delhi out to Rajasthan, the trip was 10 hours for 400 kilometers, so really high speed. That's what you do in Austria. Okay, that's less than Vienna Salzburg, which you do in 2 hours now.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And the other one was the high speed, the Stadttik. Coming from Bhopal up to Delhi from, I think in Korea I was there. Yeah. So the last 200 kilometers, and the train was amazing, 120 kilometers, and there we were at the high speed. But a lot of people, I imagine, when I was coming back from the desert, you do not need a bodyguard in India because the people are all friendly, but I needed a bodyguard to come to my car to make the way free to the car because there were so many people when the train was arriving there.
Okay, getting our focus back to Austria after your experience in India, is that how do you see the Austrian landscape? Like, I mean, you've been here for many years and you're from Upper Austria, but like the Austrian landscape for the last 30 years, how you see the energy system changing here?
I think the energy system in Austria is a very lucky one. We have a quite wide range of renewables starting last 100 years even, where we use the relatively big rivers to produce our main energy, or my main electricity, to be honest. We have, on the other hand, the big river Danube, where a lot of water is coming down and supporting. I think about more than 60%. Don't ask me about the precise number, but more than 60% is just water coming down from the mountains. There is a quite lucky situation that we are, and to fill up the rest with renewables, to get at least on the electricity sector independent is technically possible.
Yeah,
that's the situation. And I'm working, one of my best clients is the ÖBB, the Austrian Federal Railway. And they will reach this 100% on renewable electricity for their trains quite soon. I'm supporting them currently for combining big PV plants with supporting the electricity of the train, and they start now also to combine wind farms and connect them directly to the overhead line of the train.
With these inverters that you said that it's not 50
No, it's 16.7 Hertz we have, and it is one phase. So it's a single phase. And based on this, the inverter is quite bigger than a normal one.
Yeah.
Because you have the bigger coils and you have the bigger capacitors. Because of the high current, you have only one phase. Just an idea, the 2 megawatt inverter the 2 megawatt inverter station have a weight of 11 tons, which is not necessary, and you are below 1 ton if you take the 50 hertz. Compare if you take the big SMA 1 megawatt station, it is without the transformer. Without the transformer, the part is below 1 ton, or for a round, and here we have 11 tons and no transformers. Yeah.
Well,
So that's the situation. But supporting the train directly is impressive. And on the Austrian landscape, there are some other power plants.
yeah, and are there any like new development project that is going on that worth mentioning?
I do not. Even the gas power plants are in the way to be used very limited.
Mm-hmm.
So we can, based on this lucky situation where we are,
Yeah.
and the same is valid in Switzerland, based on this lucky situation, we are able to do this. Neighbor countries do not have this lucky situation. If you take Germany, for instance, they have to do a lot on distribute their weak available wind of the northern part of the country. The mountains in the south are the rest of the mountains, not the main part like Austria and Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have nearly no riverside power plants. They have no pump storage in the higher mountains like we have Capone.
So what next for Austria in terms of decarbonization? I mean, industries, right? I mean, we still need to address in Austria the industry.
Yeah, but the industry is located on a few locations, and especially the main the steel industry in Linz, they have developed extremely. I remember when I was growing up in the 70s, last century, and you went to Linz. I've never seen it before I wasn't there yet.
They are competitive.
But it was in the 70s, and we had a lot of deaths on the effects of the pollution, and then they reduced the sulfur in the pollution by the regulations and the industry, so the air is clean in Austria in the meantime. I know a friend of mine who is responsible for the historical building here in Vienna, and this nice green rooftops built from copper, but you need them that they get green. You have this copper in this orange orange black color at the initial state, and then you need the sulfur from the air that it getting green, and they have problems that the historical buildings, when they change the rooftops, does not get this nice green because there is no sulfur anymore in the air.
So they remain with the copper natural.
The maximum it goes to black from any other pollution rest, but it doesn't get green anymore.
Wow.
They are taking the green copper from parts that are not visible and put it out on the visible and reuse it on the visible part. Because the air is so clean in the meantime, that's the advantage of using renewables and not blowing anything out. But the industrial pollution is simpler to get under control. You get no permit to start anything before you do not fulfill the strong regulations that we have here. So here we are. Based on this, we are very lucky. And coming back to India, where you have the problem that most of the pollution is coming from small local fires, where a lot of people are burning anything that is not allowed to be burned. But you will never put into a controlled power plant like we have here in Vienna, for instance,
Yeah,
But this is a controlled situation. The pollution is really limited to that what the content of the material that you burn usually provides you.
Yeah.
But the way should go into having all that you need on energy in a controlled way, so that you have no pollution coming out from the households are building here. Austria is in a lucky situation also.
Yeah.
The way to heat pump is just the next logical one, but we do since I've done it on also renewable is wood firing if you do it controlled, and controlled wood firing for for households is also a possibility. I did even not follow this idea. I was originally, I'm myself, I'm having now my second heat pump. I already did 1993 heat pump to support my house.
Wow.
Because I have, and it worked 30 years without any problems. And the problem was a buffer at the end of the lifetime, but not the heat pump itself.
So,
I changed it last year, yeah. And the quality is now levelizing the electric energy by 1 to 5 and might have a
but were you able to get an individual heat pump back then?
Yeah, that was available on the market, no problem.
Okay.
That was no problem.
Yeah.
That was no problem.
And because I think it now it's getting back in that people want individual heat pumps and that the heat pump suppliers have become. And was it a boiler?
Yeah, the boiler is afterwards. So you heat up with the heat pump,
Yeah.
the water put it in the boiler, and then the boiler is your buffer.
Yeah.
And on the energy transition, coming back to that, the buffer is now the battery.
Yeah.
Should be the battery because you produce the cleanest energy that you can produce, electricity for sure. You take a support that is not writing you a bill, so no one is sending you a bill from oil or gas, or even from wood firing. Yeah, so you are independent from that, so you have a stable situation of your energy input, which is wind, which is water, which is direct sun usage, and you buffer it,
Mm-hmm.
and you deliver it when the client requires it. The startup was for sure setting up the market, growing up the market by setting up subsidies, which Germany was really famous. And the market, all you can eat, have to digest everything, and that's the situation where we are now, in this energy transition, where we have now to balance the energy and provide it to the client when he requires it.
Yeah. So you are an energy expert. I mean, you were all professor, but you are a consultant energy expert in the field. So I want to ask you this solution that you mentioned before we started. When you can combine different technologies in order to address, to optimize the infrastructure usage, and then to storage and to supply the energy when it's needed to tackle this challenge, which is the dark carbon, which is everywhere. So,
okay.
what is this solution?
Let's talk about it. We have I think we have it all over Europe, and some countries are more developed, some countries are more lucky. The main pattern is the same. We have a transition to renewable energies where we have energy available when the wind is blowing, and we have energy available on the renewables when the sun is shining, which is a problem in the night. On the one hand, but the wind is also going in the night, so based on this is quite fine. The next one is the energy is needed to a different time, and the other problem is that you have to bring the energy to the client. So bringing the energy to the client requires a grid, and the grid is to be dimensioned on when the most energy is available. It has to support the whole power. And here is a big gap in between thinking about power and energy. Power is that what you get on, let's say, a strong strike.
Instantly.
But if you take less power but over a longer time, you transport the same energy. Mm-hmm. So the trick is to have the energy more or less distributed, or provided when the client can also be on a big power plant, the grid.
Okay.
Yeah. When the client requires this. Mm-hmm. All you have to do, and on the solar thermal it is quite easy, is to take the energy when you have it. Okay, the sun is shining, it's heating up your water. And you take the energy to your personal consumption when you need it. So when do you need your hot water? When you want to shower. There are two types of showering, one in the morning, the other in the afternoon. So, or when you're cooking or cleaning your dishes. Then you need your hot water, or you take your water for heating up the room, or reducing the temperature, mixing it up, piping into the floors. On that renewable system, you can do everything local. You take the water as a buffer, you have 1,000 liter storage on a private house, you have a few square meters on your rooftop on a certain collector, you have some copper lines, some pumps, and this system is working independently without any pollution. It's consuming a small part of electricity for the pumps, and that's it. You cannot do this you can do this, but it is quite interesting to have it on wider areas. Denmark did a lot on that. They have distributed heating system on taking care about renewables. This is a good example, but the world is a bit different. The whole world, and the energy that you can use in most cases, and the cleanest energy is for sure electricity. So the key is here taking the patterns that have been successful for many years, for even decades, and take the same pattern. And we are now in the lucky situation that the battery prices are going down. They are at an acceptable level, so that also from the economical perspective, it gets attractive. And we have a lot of connections to the grid from PV plants, from wind farms, where this is only partially needed. So one of the things is, why not combining two different things that have different production profiles and using it on the same connection point. I've presented in my lesson just an example here of Austria. We have here south of Vienna a lot of successful wind, where this wind has a profile that it is running here. It is blowing more in winter. It is blowing more in the early morning and late afternoon. And if you take the solar impact is more at high noon, when the wind is more or less quiet. It is more in the summer season than in the winter season, when the wind is silent. So why not connect these two together? Because on the one hand, they are the producer of the wind turbine. I need my 1 megawatt or whatever the turbine has on grid connection. On the other hand, or 10 megawatt or whatever, yeah. And on the other hand, a PV plant, I need my grid connection for 1 megawatt because 2 hours a day I have good sun and I can produce really 1 megawatt, yeah. And nobody is thinking about the borders when the wind is not blowing full power but only partial. Then the wind connection is maybe blocked for 30%, 40%, even 60%. And why not fill up at this time when the sun is usually shining, adding additional power on the same connection point.
The same connection.
On the same connection point. And I'm losing a lot of this of my energy, and it is so expensive. The real number is here in this area. We did it on simulating 3 or 4 years exactly on 5-minute resolution, and the result is you are between 8 and 11% of the PV production, which is half of the wind production, because wind is running during the night also, and it is delivering 2,000 kilowatt hours per kilowatt power connected, yeah, roughly. And PV is 1,000, 1,200, but on filling up, but you have 8,000 hours a year. Hey, sorry. So even connecting the same dimension of PV on a feeding point of a defined level. In this case, it was a 14 megawatt, but I did it also with a 100 megawatt scenario. It's the same proportion. And the amazing part is if you add a battery to bridge 4 or 8 hours, you go down to a loss that is below 1% of the whole energy production. So adding a battery of 8 hours to a setup using the full power of the wind farm and using the same size or even double the size on PV, adding it on the same feeding point, you do not have to add anything on the grid, but you have a 5 times higher
Energy production.
not 5 times, but 3 times higher energy transition on the same feeding point. Not one screw additional necessary on the
Wind,
on the
solar,
grid.
battery.
Yeah, wind, solar, battery makes up to 67, 70% usage of the feeding point, where wind is up to 20-25%, and solar is even 30-50%. So 1,000 full load hours of 8,800 hours a year. You blow over the line from. So this is an attractive approach, and the next one is put such an environment close to a connection point where, for instance, a gas power plant was. We have gas power plants with a few hundred megawatt, where wind area is around, and the lines to this connection point are not, and you do not have to change too much on the grid. So this is a possibility to add it. And coming back to your initial questions, would this be interesting for Eastern Europe? And here it's clear for sure. This is the solution to provide developing countries which are not at that high energy level like we are. We have to fill up and keep it alive. Here in Austria, more or less, and the energy growth rate is not that high like you have in emerging countries where economy.
Can you take any example of a country, like where it could be applicable?
Take Romania, Bulgaria, for instance. They have their I think they are the classical ones for Eastern Europe. They are countries with a lot of sun. Taking Romania from the Black Sea, there is an attractive wind profile. They have really attractive wind, but they have poor grid. Yeah. So having here some kind of strategic situation, and here coming back to India, where I put the 400 kV line from big cities to the desert, putting their gigawatts of PV and supporting the growth, the energy hunger that the big cities have, and support the big cities to support at least during the day. And you have also the luck that the energy growth is then also to support your air conditioning systems, which is a nice profile running parallel to the sun. Yeah. But there is limited additional infrastructure required to pass this challenge, and that is interesting for sure for Romania, Bulgaria, where they have some areas with big cities. If you take Romania,
they won't have to invest on grid modernization or grid infrastructure, because you can already feed it into the existing.
The existing is, I'm not aware about the details there. I think Alex and is here much better. But from the basics, from the basics, maybe there is you can discuss about requirements, but from the basics, putting strong lines to the areas of industry, putting strong lines to the cities, and go out on the countryside, and they have enough countryside, and put heavy PV and wind farms, and put anywhere local to the feeding point, that you do not overrun the long lines, put batteries on the entrance of the line, make a big transportation to the areas where the energy is required, and put also additional batteries close to the client to fulfill their profiles. And then you get rid of the problems where, especially Germany is crying about this, because they have PV on a lot of private households.
Yeah.
And during the noon hours, PV is producing more than Germany is requiring.
Wow.
So they have negative prices. Yeah. So the market price is then negative, and you didn't have to pay to deliver your energy, which is a problem on the power plants. Yeah?
But it's good for storage.
It's good for storage. It's extremely for storage, because on storage you can exactly compensate this problem, because you take the energy when the sun is shining, put it into the storage and keep it there until the market is requiring it. And based on this, you can compensate. I'm not a friend of this battery-only fans who are just dealing with it's called the duck curve, where it looks like a duck up and down, where the price is down when the sun is shining, and the price is up in the morning and afternoon hours when everyone is at home, and a lot of electricity is required in the private household. And there are some bumps in some areas when the industry is requiring, but the industry is a different chapter and can be handled locally or with special tailor-made solutions. But if you take it all over the country, you have to take care about this. And this is quite interesting to take here the battery. And I don't like the guys who just say, okay, we have the duck curve, we have these low prices in the early morning when riverside power plants, gas power plants, coal-fired power plants are running, because you can stop and run them, and also the nuclear power plants, you can run and stop them like you want. So the price, they are filling in and the price is going down. Then there's the duck curve coming down during a sunny day. Especially on weekends when the industry is not consuming, the price is going to negative. Then they are buying the negative price at cheap times and selling it. It helps for sure. It helps for sure. It is money making, but I think it is a too narrow angle. Because after sometimes when a lot of people are recognizing this, everyone wants to play this game, and then you have not this benefit, because the gap is then not enough. You do not have to forget, you need also some fees for getting transportation over the grid, and between selling and buying you have still a grid fee, and if the gap between maximum and minimum price is less than the grid fee, then you can smash your battery, because you don't make money with it. So this is a temporary aspect where you get nowadays, where the duck curve is extremely, and the duck curve is at the moment, as PV and wind are still growing, is the duck curve expanding at the moment.
Yeah, now it's a canyon curve. It's not duck. It's
canyon,
more like a canyon.
It's a canyon curve. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. I will remember this in my next lections. The duck curve changes to canyon curve. At the moment, but it is visible. It is visible that within the next 5-10 years, whatever this curve gets flattened, and then if you have a poor battery use, you can smash it, because you cannot, by only using this gap of the price, it is not enough. But by using it on having it as a storage to being prepared when you use it, it makes absolutely sense. There are also ideas on putting the batteries of electricity of electric cars as a public buffer, but this is from the regulatory side. It is really tricky, because you want to drive in the car when you want to drive, not when the electricity is not required. And yeah,
Just talking about, you mentioned Romania and Bulgaria, so just getting back to the whole CEE region, and what do you think like the other challenges that you see in their energy transition?
I think there is a development, but it is still a challenge, is the regulatory side. That I remember the first days when I was working for Romanian projects, it was an extremely problem on the corruption to get the permits.
Mm-hmm.
There to get permits, that is getting significantly better in the last years. So they are here successful working against corruption. But I remember 2008, 2010. Setting up for a stupid 20 megawatt, which is nothing, yeah? A 20 megawatt plant in the area of Timișoara, we should have come with cash money to get the permit. Yeah? And we escalated it, and this guy was for sure fired, but we did not get the permit anyhow, because on the next level, they didn't want that anyone was getting fired. That was a problem. It is getting better. The regulatory side is for sure a problem. Then the development of the grid is not fast enough. Yeah. But especially on compensating the extension of the grid, which is quite necessary, but it is not necessary only. So this can be compensated by having local. And then here the regulatory has the problem that it doesn't recognize fast enough that the feeding point is the point of interest and not the production. So if you have a wind farm and you put a PV and you say I use the same feeding point, then they make it still from the regulatory side, not from the technical. They make it still as two different points, and you will get the permit. Also, it's technically possible. So here, but I think this should be possible to talk with the regulatory side to understand that the energy behind the meter should be provided by whatever you have. And even if you extend it to hydrogen, if it is a big plant, you can also extend it and produce hydrogen there and use the hydrogen where you need, for instance, higher temperature, or where you need gas for industry purpose on production. Yeah? There you can extend this model, and I'm talking here about industrial dimension, not about private household, because private household is nice, but and it is also that you can talk with your neighbor about how many cents you have here, advantage and everything localized. But on industrial dimension, you should go taking big units, combine it behind the meter, and distribute it like the client, and the client can be the grid. Required, yeah.
Before we started this interview, we were talking to you and we were discussing leapfrogging for developing markets. What kind of leapfrogging that you see in the Eastern Europe part? Because they don't need to do everything that maybe Scandinavia has done or Netherlands has done. Where do you see them doing leapfrogging in energy transition?
I think there is no need on these countries to set up a lot of gas power plants for grid balancing. Mm-hmm. That step, which was done, and even Austria did it, was done, can be compensated by renewable power plants if they are really set up on having really enough battery, having reliable wind direction. I'm talking here about units above 100 megawatt hour. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But from 500 megawatt connections. Setting up such things can be done using renewables 100%, and having it also from the public perspective also economical, with no fuel costs. You have no costs of primary energy. You have only the infrastructure and the capex and the operational part, where the operational part is, let's say, it is for sure challenging in these countries to have enough electricians that you can educate them on the local requirements. People are willing to learn on the local requirements. So if you have skilled people who are able to transfer the knowledge how to operate a PV plant, it is not a problem. On wind it is different. It's a different one, but wind is done which is higher skilled, but with less services than from the amount with less services than on PV. And there are not so many interaction possibilities than on PV plant. Where PV, you fight with the big numbers of equipment that you have, where you should take care about that the big number of equipment is staying alive at the high level. Yeah? So repairing an inverter or replacing an inverter should be possible by your local team or by a team that is close to your company, and not to ask someone in Sweden or not in Germany to jump and to repair it, which is on a wind turbine a different one. They have a higher quality level. They have single spots where it is required to have high quality services. On PV you have a huge amount of models, you have a huge amount of cables, and a lot of possibilities that someone local breaks down but doesn't disturb the power.
Also, just discussing a bit about the technical know-how in these countries. How do you think how prepared are they for the challenges that is coming their way?
I think on the big challenges, meaning setting up the grid, there is enough experience in all Europe, and there are some specialized companies who are doing it. And they can expand and transfer their knowledge, and there are single projects, and when the projects are done, there will be no bigger problems. Wind turbines, I already said, it's usual that the manufacturer is setting up a service team, and by growing of the manufacturer, the service team is growing in parallel. So this the individual service of turbines is managed by the structure of the market itself. On PV, there is some challenge because you need some people there, but this can also be handled on having local electrician and educating and training people on the local services that are necessary. Not everyone in a PV plant has to be a full educated PhD on electrotechnical. So you can train, you can tell them which parts of the are let's say dangerous, and the dangerous zones means the switch gears and the big inverters. If you have big inverters, can be handled by experts, and the rest can be done by people that you can really get from the local area. You're creating some jobs, not very much, to be honest. Yeah. We are talking here about 10-15 people on a 50 megawatt plant. Yeah. That makes sense that you support them. You have to take care about grass cutting. If you have problems, you have to take care about cleaning the models. In some countries more, in some countries less. Yeah. You have to take care that all the wear out can be handled by cycling checks. You have to do some checks. These are the jobs that are necessary, but you can the service aspect is quite low and not so much challenging. So I would say that the transition is manageable. Is manageable. On the grid operator side, I think the growth rate on distributing the people they have enough people sent out to international universities so that the basic education for these experts that you need for training staff and so on is giving companies that are doing energy trainings will grow with their local teams. There is a lot of accompanying jobs that are necessary on the legal side, for instance. The legal side is quite tricky there and needs much more, and all the managing side for managing.
Were there any more challenges apart from corruption in some part that you faced obtaining permits?
Yeah, okay. Getting the permits is a crucial one. Then the normal technical issues that you have. That you have no clear profile about what is under the ground, so that the ground is not working and you have to add concrete on locations where you didn't expect it, that the ramming was not working, that it did not have smooth information about what is below the ground. That were for sure challenges on erecting, getting some areas problems with analysis from the local people, but that is also in the meantime managed by if you make communication to the people around. It is working. There is a nice example, but it is from India, where we had broken models and theft and distortions from peoples of the village around, and the original owner was blowing up the security stuff, which was creating jobs, and the real solution was just giving the people from the village around jobs on taking care of cleaning the models, which was a problem in this location. And as soon as the people of the village around had jobs in the plants to clean the models at a lower price than the security, just taking care about
for the community.
The single job is cheaper than a security guy. Yeah. Then the security was no longer necessary because the people said, okay, my auntie and my cousin are working there, and they took care from the village that no one is getting into the power plant and destroying anything. And based on this, this is communicate with the area where we are. Then these problems of the local people you can handle. But if you just are the big money spender and I put there 2 million models in the desert and not taking care about who is around, if you integrate them, you can handle them. But that were challenges. Also, I remember in Romania, this is no longer an issue. The people are used. They are used to that. They know it. Theft is for sure a problem when you have anything that looks like it is expensive and can be used on so as long as you do not have the fence around. But in the meantime, the models prices are so low that even stealing models doesn't make. And during and the theft of cables is only interesting when the cables are really available during the construction phase. If you have to dig expensive copper cable under the ground already, theft is a big effort. Yeah.
You also had considerable experience in Hungary, right? Or
in Hungary, it's one of the countries I'm missing. Czech Republic, Slovakia.
But do you think like these countries you can put them in one bucket?
No. Every country here is different. Czech is, for instance, from all the Eastern European countries, the most developed. There you have for sure you have to fight with the bureaucratism. But on the other hand, there is also a growing lobby who is taking care that renewable energies have a position on the political decisions, and they are considered. But based on the development of these countries, for instance, in the Czech Republic, you have a lot of small power plants distributed all over the country with a lot of mixed up stuff.
Yeah.
So having here a bigger portfolio is challenging, as you have a lot of small plants distributed all over the country, where these effects that I told before, putting battery on it and delivering and use it like a big power plant doesn't work that smooth. Yeah. But they are, on the other hand, very, very well developed. You have a lot of good educated people and have not the problem to find people to service you. But on the other hand, you have then to manage it very effective, because the prices of the manpower is based on the data education higher. Slovakia is close around, is very distributed, close around Bratislava, similar developed like Czech Republic. If you go on the border, Poland, Ukraine, you are closer to the country that you are working, where you have wide countryside with not very much population, not very much infrastructure. Hungary, sorry, I cannot, I have no personal experiences, also not all the former Yugoslavian countries, and Romania and Bulgaria are similar but different in details. These are big countries, they have the good sun, they have some local centers around the big cities, and the rest is big countryside which you can use for producing the energy. So taking care about this structure, it is manageable. On the end, you have also the legislation at least centralized compared to Central Europe, for sure a bit chaotic, but they are on a way that is getting better and it's getting clearer, and they see their chance, and that makes it quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
So the time of flight, we know that we have our businesses today, so maybe we can continue with the final thoughts or how it is in the future.
well, yeah,
I'm surprised, but
we just want to ask you a couple of final questions. Of course, you want to go ahead?
From my side, I would like to know, as a technical expert, how do you see the future and the developing of the renewable energy technologies in the next years, and the role of the innovation in this field?
I think the role of innovation is here in the integration of already existing innovations in other fields, and the trick on the renewables is thinking out of the local box of the experts. I'm fighting at PVSEC always on the PV guys who think they are the most famous in the world, which is clear. They are experts in their field and they are for sure on their field the most famous. But the most famous thing is to produce electricity for everything, for everyone. And so you have to think about the border. So thinking about the border, combining things that are existing, like I told you, wind, combining wind with battery and with PV and battery, and even on the bigger ones, adding the hydrogen as combined setups. But the same is also on technology, on the development. So using artificial intelligence, by all the criticism that I brought out from the technical perspective, but using it where it makes sense, on pattern recognition to detect for the analysis, it makes absolutely sense. On analyzing the big data that you have a PV plant, have a few million, a real PV plant, have a few million motors in a few 100,000 of strings. Finding out which one is working should be have to be optimized in a big one, and here selecting and filtering out what is a fault, what is a cloud, yeah. So that you do not send out on every cloud a technician to measure if a motor is broken on a few on that. But using these technologies that are available, making it simpler to be handled. Also for forecast, AI is at least an indicator. It's an indicator. It's not the final tool, yeah. But it is an indicator taking care about more precise forecast. There's a wide field on combining, thinking out of the box and using the things that are already available on the market and combining would be the key in the next time, and using it on industrial dimension. Okay.
And finally, Gerhard, what do you think about the Energy Bridge and our initiative to understand the Central and Eastern European energy system better?
I'm really amazed about that, what you are doing here, because that could gap this, especially the knowledge that is not there. The knowledge is there on industrial institutions like we have here on the university, on international institutions like we have here on the University of Vienna in our master course, where we have people all over the world that are contributing and not only sharing their experience, but also sharing the experience from you in Chile to you in India and talking in Vienna. That's necessary, and I think especially on this transition, taking the know-how, putting experts together on the stakeholder of the executing part is interesting. Don't forget the lawyers and discuss with them from the technical perspective to simplify the laws, because this is one of the challenges that we have beside our poor technical problems.
We already have a lawyer in our pipeline to discuss next.
Yeah, because they have to take care that the rules are simplified but usable and fair. Yeah.
So yes, just to highlight that you made the same master program that we are finishing, and you were classmate with Alexander Fischer.
Yeah.
So we are very happy to having you here. It has been a pleasure, and I don't know, I feel that we were lack of time, so maybe we can repeat it in the future to discuss other interesting topics. And I think that's all for today.
Yeah, and we will be meeting you in May in our conference.
For sure.
Thank you very much.
So thank you all, and follow us. Don't forget to subscribe the channel and join us to keep learning about the energy transition in Central and Eastern Europe.